Hello ladies and gentlemen, Keaton here, and welcome to this week's look at the latest Nuclear Throne update. This is update number 13. Now before I begin, I just want to address really quick the video last week. I apologize to anyone who was disappointed with it. I can understand why you would be, and I'm not going to make any excuses. I'm just going to promise you that from now on, if I have any criticism for this game, I will be sure to be constructive and fair. So with that said, before we get into update number 13, let's take a quick look back at what happened in update number 12. Now in update number 12, we got the addition of a female bandit named Rebel, and her abilities are to spawn little, I guess, minions you would call them, at the cost of 2 health, and when you get attacked you like explode, and I assume that's like an AoE attack. But yeah, along with the Rebel came the unlock system, which I freaked out about. So now a lot of the characters need to be unlocked, but fortunately the unlock conditions are not that steep. They were steep last week, but we'll talk about them more this week. There were new mutation sound additions, so depending on what you chose, it would give you a nice sound effect. And sounds in general were either added or changed. So along with that and a whole bunch of other things that again we don't want to spend too much time talking about, as always, if you would like the full list or a more in-depth look, you can check out our previous video for update number 12, or you can even check the link in the description for that video. Get the full list yourself. Awesome. Moving on to update number 13, because it is a big one. Now the headliner this week you would think would fall under balances, changes and fixes and whatnot, but because of the importance of how this is going to affect the game going forward, Vlambeer have made that the focal point of this week's update, and it is in fact a very important update. So the biggest change this week is the change to the way that players interact with walls. Now if you've played this game at all, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. When you would walk into a wall, your character would slide, and it wouldn't be like a stop, which is what you would normally expect from a game. And Vlambeer have gone on record saying that this is something they wish would have worked out, but unfortunately it didn't, so they did in fact finally remove it. So what that means now is that when you walk into a wall, you're actually going to stop in your tracks, and you will not slide across the wall. You will not move until you tell your character to move in another direction. And this is actually something that's been asked for in the community for quite a while. And if you would like my personal opinion on this change, it will be at the end of the video along with my opinion on the rest of the update, so stay tuned. So this week's update was definitely focused more on fixing the wall slide, wall hug issue, but there have been a lot of slight additions and changes and balances, and the list is very long, so I'm pretty much gonna just give you a rundown of arguably the most important or most noticeable. So here we go. You may hear some mysterious music when you're in the Frozen City now. Unfortunately, I'm still not good enough to get to the Frozen City on a consistent basis, but for those good enough to get there on a consistent basis, keep your ears open, because you may hear something new. Tips will now take into consideration your current crown and mutations. So I guess what that means, it'll give you tips and tricks on how to better utilize the crowns and mutations you currently possess, which is great. The desert music got a slight update, not sure exactly what that entails, but there you go. The unlock system has been toned down a bit. Now again, this is something I freaked out about last week, but Vlambeer, of course, as awesome as they are, you know, they understand that they need Rebel feedback. So they've lowered the requirement for Rebel to the sewers now, so you don't need to get to the Frozen City anymore. So there we go. Makes me look completely ridiculous, but that's okay. Shotguns have been given an extra pellet to give them a slight buff. So shotgun aficionados, you just got 1 extra pellet. Crown of Life now gives you 6 health at the end of each level. I don't exactly remember the original. I think it was 4. I could be wrong. No, maybe that was 3. Someone tell me what was the old one in the comments. Thank you. Hyper rifles and golden weapons now spawn slightly later. I've only run into golden weapons like in the Frozen City, so I can't imagine just how later they mean, but there you go. Flame weapons now spawn earlier. Unfortunately, I still didn't see any in like the scrapyard or the crystal caves, but then again, I didn't get too far in the crystal caves, so keep your eye out. You'll probably get flame weapons. I'm just really unlucky in general, so that's okay. Now this is something I've noticed playing the game on my own, is sometimes statues wouldn't spawn in 3-2, and I'd be really bummed because that would mean no crown. But that has been fixed. Vlambeer now assure you that statues will spawn where they should, so you'll see a lovely statue on those tiles. No more lonely tiles. Awesome. Looping an area now no longer nullifies you unlocking a character. This, thank God, thank God, thank God. When I looped my first time, I did not unlock Rebel. It was a bittersweet victory regardless, but it's nice that that was fixed. So don't worry, loop your heart out. Don't worry, you will unlock those characters. Now I'm going to wrap this up into one nice little info ball for you. In general, Vlambeer have done a lot to lessen the load, the memory usage. So a whole lot of tinkering has been done to the sound effects, the way that sounds are loaded, the generation. So many things have been altered just to help make the game run that much smoother. If you would like the full detail of all these changes, because there are quite a bit, and I don't want to waste your time just reciting them. So if you would like the full list, check the link in the description below. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to wait until Vlambeer decide to show it off in these changes themselves. But if you've been watching their live stream, you would definitely know that Vlambeer are working on some hidden levels. And boy, do they make some interesting implications in terms of like lore, which is really interesting, and I can't wait to talk about it. But for the sake of spoilers and the surprise and giving Vlambeer the way to show this off, we're gonna wait, and I'm not gonna talk about it at all, but it's pretty awesome. And to wrap up the changes this week, fire will now light up in the darkness, and tile sets have been altered, so you may see a little more versatility in your level layouts. So my thoughts this week, amazing. I'm really happy to see them finally remove the wall slide. In theory, I think I understand what they wanted out of the game. I think what they were going for was a fluid sort of movement style, similar to the fluid nature of a good Hotline Miami run. Like, I've seen Hotline Miami described as like a dance, where it's so fluid that every hit and every movement, it's just smooth. I think Vlambeer were going for something similar. Unfortunately, I don't think the game necessarily catered to that, and even Vlambeer sort of understood that precise movement was exceptionally key to playing this game well, and it shows. If you've played the game before this update and you play it now, you can definitely feel that your movement is so precise that you actually have control over your character. And for me personally, it makes me feel much more confident in what I'm doing. In a game where so much is uncertain, it's very important to feel that you have control of your character, and the wall slide just made it so much crazier and so much more difficult than it needed to be, especially in like the sewers or any place where you're fighting melee characters that could pretty much combo you. It was a very frustrating mechanic, but as players we learn to deal with it. So the change is very bizarre in a way, but at the same time it's a change that is very good to the game itself. I think some people may have to adjust, like readjust their gameplay style to this new feeling, but I think in general people are really gonna like this, and I think it's gonna be a very welcome change. Now everything else is also a nice welcome change. It's always nice when CPU usage is not just going overboard, and you know, Vlambeer have had a lot of problems with the audio, so I'm hoping that all these changes are actually going to help them with the audio issues. In terms of bugs, I noticed a really significant bug that I don't even know. So I played a lot today with Chicken, and I'm guessing it's only Chicken. I didn't really play melee weapons with any other character, but Chicken in particular, with her sword, I noticed when you would attack an enemy, you would like blink, you would teleport to another area on the map. And the only thing that I can assume is happening is because Chicken lunges in a direction, she's like clipping the wall or something, and the game is like freaking out and being like, oh my god, it's the collision, you know, the character is stuck in a wall. Quickly teleported to a safe spot, and it's choosing the closest safe spot, I guess. So I don't know, that's just my assumption. That's probably wrong, but you know, there you go. But yeah, other than that, pretty fun update, very minimal on the additions, but it's a necessary update that I think a lot of people are gonna be really happy to see finally happen. So more power to Vlambeer for really finally getting on that. And apparently the fix for this wall slide issue was like 5 lines of code. That is crazy. Anyway, that wraps it up for this week's update. As usual, if you would like the full list of changes, check the link in the description below. And if you haven't picked up this game yet and it interests you, definitely, I highly recommend it. You can check the link in the description below for a link to their Steam Early Access page. Because yes, this is in Steam Early Access, you get a new update every single week, and it's got changes, fixes, additions, all of that beautiful stuff. And even better, if you want to see Vlambeer working on this game, like legit seeing the code being put in and then seeing it tested and seeing them fail and win and all of that good stuff, you can check out their Twitch TV channel. Link to their channel is in the description below, which, you know what, allow me to just say that it is pretty insightful. If you're interested in development at all, or you want to see the sort of behind the scenes of this game, highly recommend you watch the live streams. You can learn quite a bit of things. This week I learned JW does not use indents in his code, and it freaks me out. I'm just like, how do you keep track of your code, sir? That is godlike levels of just being able to make sure none of it is broken or whatever. It's a thing, man. That's a thing. And that's only something you're gonna see watching them live. So there you go, man. I should also mention thank you to the wiki community for Nuclear Throne for reaching out to me. Love you guys. Love what you guys are doing. If you guys are ever lost, if you guys want backstory, tips, tricks, whatever, like whatever you would find on a wiki, it's there. Check the link in the description below for a link to the wiki, run by some great people who are very dedicated to this game. Nuclear Throne community in general, pretty damn awesome. But anyway, yes, I'm just rambling at this point. Hope you also enjoy the new presentation style. I'm still working on it, might make some fixes. Let me know if there are things that you would like to see changed, like if you can't read the text or something, you know, go ahead, leave it in the comments. I'll read it and I'll consider it. And yes, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it was helpful in your everyday Nuclear Throne life. Hope it's showered down some info and enlightened you in a way that you feel more knowledgeable in life. But yes, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!